Yeah, all my ideas were for but big not AIIAS
What is that?
It's less me. So
Good afternoon, everyone. Want to welcome you all to our session today. Today we have a session on appreciative inquiry, and we are privileged to have Dr. Swansea, who is going to be presenting to us. He's the Dean of the faculty, or Dean of the Graduate School. So as usual, we'll expect you to participate, ask questions as we explore appreciative inquiry from start to finish. As we begin, I'm going to request Pastor to pray for us.
Thank you. We'll pray. Merciful Father in heaven, as we are about to start with our workshop this afternoon, Lord, we commit our lives again to you as well, Lord, to the life of Dr. Swansea. As he lead us, we pray, Lord, for wisdom, knowledge, to be with him as he guide us, Lord, through this study. Be with us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Dr. Innocent, for the invitation to present something on appreciative inquiry, and I'm happy that some of you are interested. My association with appreciative inquiry goes back maybe 20, 25 years. When I first came across this idea, a very powerful idea, and an idea that not just shaped my thinking, shaped my work, my teaching, and also later on, I, along with some of my colleagues, were instrumental in developing this into a research methodology. I'm very proud that quite a few good papers have used appreciative inquiry as research methodology, especially here at AIIAS. I had the privilege of working with Dr. Innocent, and he did appreciative inquiry as one of his methodologies. I think it was grounded theory and appreciative inquiry together, right, Innocent? And it was a great privilege to learn together with all of my students. Whenever we take up a new methodology, it is always an opportunity to learn. Learn just not for the student, but also for us. And past couple of years, we have been working with Anup on another difficult. This is appreciative inquiry is kind of simpler, much simpler, but critical realism has been more difficult and a more difficult journey. But I must say that every moment I've been in touch with this methodology, I have been inspired greatly for 2 or 3 reasons. Maybe because it is an idea that is so powerful that has influenced me in all my facets of life, not just in research and in acquiring new knowledge, but also because it concurs so well, fits so well with who I am and who I want to be. And I will always advise my students and all fellow researchers, look for methodologies that you can vibe with well, and you can be comfortable at a personal level, so that you will not just use it as a tool, but also as a companion. So appreciative inquiry. I really do not know how I'll be able to deal with this topic. It says appreciative inquiry from start to finish, right? I think it'll be, let me take the liberty of changing this topic a little bit, Dr. Innocent. It'll be from start to start. I don't think we can finish much. But then I must say that I have a 45 minutes presentation, maybe about an hour and a half presentation. And I also have a 3-day presentation, wherein you can be with this methodology for 3 days. I've conducted some workshops, 3-day workshops on this, full-day workshops, and I've enjoyed every moment. All right, so here, let me move. It's not moving. Okay. I want you to look at this image that is on the screen. It's an image of a beautiful reptile, a chameleon, right? Or a chameleon, chameleon. And one important characteristic is that it can change its color. Very often, adapting itself, camouflaging itself to the surroundings. What a immense, I shouldn't say evolutionary adaptation, but a marvel of creation that can help it escape and perhaps merge with its environment. I'd like to begin with a quote from Heraclitus: "Nothing endures but change. Nothing is permanent as change." There is another version of this which would say, "Nothing endures but change." Appreciative inquiry is about positive change. And so, as a researcher, if you want to research change, you want to study change, or you want to bring in change to perhaps the whole system, an organization, an NGO, or a governmental institution, or you want to change something and change something radically, okay? This is your methodology. This is one of your methodologies. Action research could be another, okay? But today we will not really delve into action research, but there are scholars who consider appreciative inquiry as a type or a part of action research. I would not debate with them, but there are point of departures that we will look at. And so, if you're interested in change, big ticket change, radical change, this is a methodology you'll want to adopt. How many of you like change? Or you love the status quo? Well, if you love the status quo, this is not research methodology for you. But if you like to change, if you like change, yeah, this is. There are different kinds of change, and I teach change and crisis management change. There is fine-tuning change. There is evolutionary change. Then there is adaptive change. You want to adapt something. Then there is radical change and transformative change, recreation, where you are making something entirely new, leaving aside the old system. So this research methodology actually brings into focus change. And if changes what you desire as a researcher, this is a good approach. I would recommend this. There are many different ways, many different approaches, and different approaches also work, okay? But this is one of the ways. I will begin with some biblical perspective. Dr. Innocent said, Dr. Swansea, why don't you begin with some thoughts from the Bible? And I would like to say that appreciative inquiry is perhaps closest to the Bible than any of the other methods, research methods. Very, very close. And I would like you to I'd like to draw your attention to Philippians 4:8. It says, it reads, finally, brothers, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is commendable, if there is any excellence, if there is anything worthy of praise, think about these things. Appreciative inquiry. We'll come to what this phrase appreciative inquiry means. But it is made up of two words, appreciative and inquiry. Inquiry means questions, okay? Asking the right kind of questions. And what does the word appreciative mean? To find goodness in something. To find worth in that which you are looking at. And the Bible talks about this with a great degree of emphasis. The word finally, it kind of puts everything into perspective and kind of summarizes things and says, finally, whatever is true, honorable, just, pure, lovely, commendable, excellence, if there is anything worthy of praise, think about these things. By thinking about that which is true, honorable, just, pure, lovely, commendable, and excellence, if you think about something long enough, it will change you. And that's what this idea of appreciative inquiry is all about. Philippians 3:13-14, brothers, I do not consider that I have made it my own, but one thing I do, forgetting what lies behind, straining forward to what lies ahead, I press forward to the goal, forgetting what lies behind, the mistakes that you have made, the bad things that do not work. You leave it behind. Don't worry about it. If there are problems, leave it behind. Forgetting what lies behind, look ahead. Appreciative inquiry is about focusing on the positive, not on the deficit. 2 Corinthians 3:18, behold, the glory of Lord. Beholding the glory of God, of the Lord, are being transformed. We are all with unveiled face, beholding the glory of the Lord, are being transformed. By beholding, you're transformed. If you look at something long enough, are you with me? If you look at something long enough, if you dwell on something long enough, you will be transformed. And it talks about looking for the best of there is. The best of there is. There is a great truth in the Bible, which can be summarized into by beholding, you become. You change by beholding. If you look at that which is true, honorable, just, pure, lovely, excellent, commendable, anything that is worthy of praise, you will move towards becoming that. And appreciative inquiry kind of dwells on this. I would just like to draw a story from the Bible found in John 8, 1 to 11. A woman caught in adultery. You know the story? It's not a pleasant story. And Jesus was back again in the temple, it reads. A crowd gathered, he was speaking. There were teachers and religious law, teachers of religious law, Pharisees, and they brought a woman caught in the act of adultery. And you know the story. Teacher, they said, this woman is caught in the act. The law of Moses says, stone her. What do you say? What do you say? This is a difficult situation, right? I want you to anchor on the questions that Christ asked. Okay? Appreciative inquiry is about questions, right? There are questions that can destroy and dismantle you. At the same time, there are questions that can build you and propel you towards positive change. Are you with me? Questions that can commend, questions that can appreciate people. And if you ask the right question, appreciative inquiry is about asking the right questions. If you ask the right questions, you can change people. And this verse in the Bible, I want you to focus on the questions Christ asks, okay? And they kept demanding an answer, okay? Christ was a little silent, did not answer them, because obviously this was a question too. This was, what do you say? You know, what do you say? The law of Moses says, stone this woman. What do you say? It was a question that was actually mocking someone, mocking Christ, right? Yeah. Look at the question of the Pharisees. And look at Christ's question, okay? That kept demanding an answer. So he said, all right, but let the one who has never sinned throw the first stone. This was a provocative proposition. You know, later when we look at appreciative inquiry, we'll learn about provocative propositions. At the end, that is what we need to build. But I want you to look at the questions. These are appreciative inquiry questions. Okay. He begins to write something and all the people disappear. You know the story, right? He looks at the woman, okay, looks at her and says, where are your accusers? Where are your accusers? You know, the woman, hearing this question, somewhat starts feeling alive again. She thought they was dead. She was waiting for a stone. Where are your accusers? There are people accusing you. Where are they? Didn't even one of them condemn you? Didn't even one. You look at the questions. And the transformation is beginning in this woman, deep inside. No, Lord, she said. And then another provocative proposition. What does Christ say? Neither do I. And again, a proposition. Go and sin no more. And this transforms the woman. This transforms the woman. Another example. Martha and Mary. You know the story. Martha is cooking for the guests. Mary leaves everything behind and sitting with Jesus. I want you to understand the question of Mary. What is the question, of Mary? What does she say? Lord, it's a question, okay? Lord, doesn't it bother you that my sister has left me all alone to work and she's sitting here idle? You see the question here? Doesn't it bother you? You're to be blamed, You should have asked her. You should have sent her back to the kitchen. It's a depreciative question, a question that focuses on it is a deficit-focused. It is deficit-focused question. And Christ's proposition here it's a provocative proposition again. Mary has chosen what is best, and it will not be taken away from her. Two examples. Let's bow our heads for a word of prayer. Almighty Father, we pray that you would always help us to focus on the positive and help us to realize, Father, that by beholding, we become. In Jesus' name, amen. Yeah. So in this presentation, we'll try to understand 6 things. Number one, what is appreciative inquiry? Number 2, we'll contrast appreciative inquiry with problem solving. Okay, appreciative inquiry with problem solving. Problem solving and action research are kind of similar. Okay, I'll use that interchangeably. Problem solving and action research similar. How does it differentiate from appreciative inquiry? Number 3, we are going to look at AI processes, the 4 stages, the 4D, the 4 phases of AI: deliver, discover, dream, design, and deliver, or destiny. Then we are going to look at some of the assumptions of AI, the data gathering and data generating, and lastly, data analysis. By beholding, we are changed. Let's keep that biblical perspective in mind. Now, talk about the originators of appreciative inquiry. Appreciative inquiry was pioneered in the 1980s by 2 people, David Cooper Ryder and Suresh Srivastava. By the way, Suresh Srivastava is an Indian, an Indian Hindu. And it is amazing that someone like him could come up with an idea that was so biblical, so much grounded in Bible. David Cooper Ryder was, Suresh Srivastava was his mentor. Okay, here, Suresh Srivastava, Suresh Srivastava, okay, Vastava, and David Cooper Ryder. David Cooper Ryder was his mentee. He was his mentor, and they worked. There were 2 professors at the Weatherhead School of Management at Case Western Reserve University, and they started doing an action research for an organizational development project. You understand OD, organizational development? That also deals with change. Okay. So Cooper Ryder and Srivastava, they went and started doing this action research, and the team suddenly found themselves in an extremely hostile and negative atmosphere. Why? They were looking at problems, They were focusing on problems. And when you go to organization and you want to study, say, we are people from the university, researchers, and start asking questions on problems, you will invite hostility. People don't like to talk about problems. Because when problems are there, the blame game begins. He is to be blamed, she is to be blamed, it happened because of her or him. And so they started feeling that the atmosphere had become hostile. So instead of inquiring into what wasn't working, they started asking questions about what was working. And suddenly they felt that the mood in the organization changed. People were cooperative. They were happy to talk about, and they were amazed, both Kuberider and Srivastava, that the positive inquiry, positive questions was itself enough to change and not just change, transform the organization. The questioning itself was enough. If you ask the right questions, people will change. And they could not believe it. They had discovered something. And they developed this into what they call the 4D model. And this later became appreciative inquiry mode. And so instead of focusing on what was not working, they focused on what was working. All right. So to the question, what is appreciative inquiry? It is a process of bringing positive radical change. Positive, not negative. Change can have many directions, Positive radical change. What is the meaning of radical? It's a big change, transformation. It's not a small change. Appreciative inquiry is a method of studying change or transformation that focuses on 4 things, okay? The 4 Ds. People add another D. The first D, they say define, okay? But I'm going to rest on these 4 classical Ds, 4 Ds. First is discover the best of what is. All right, what is the first one? Discover the best of what is. Number 2, dream about the best that may be. 3, the third D, design. The best, design the best that can be. And lastly, deliver your dream. These are the 4 Ds. Okay, what is the first D? Discover. The best of what is. The best of what is. All right. Just for an illustration, tell me one thing, and as I mentioned, appreciative inquiry is about change. Is there one thing that you want to change in AIIAS? Yeah. Any one thing, suggest. You have been here in AIIAS for a while and something that really bothers you, you want this to be changed. A big change, okay? Not a small change. Anything, suggest. Yeah? Church participation in church activities. So you want more people to participate? So it is not happening now? Is that what you're suggesting? There are many people come. Okay, yeah. This is more of a behavioral thing. Yes, anything bigger. I want an example that that may sound a little bigger. Yes, anyone? Church attendance. Yeah, we could work on that. We could work on that. But anything bigger? That will fit my my illustration. Anything else? Alex?
To get recognition for some program,
International recognition. Okay. Anything else? Let me choose one which. Yes? Grading system. Okay, what else? Okay, let's just keep thinking, just keep shooting. Okay, too theoretical, but you want you to make it more practical, industry oriented. Okay, yeah, let's say bringing industry immersion into the classroom, or for more theory, moving on to more practical orientation. Okay, that would be a big change, right? From moving from too much of theory in the curriculum to, okay, anything else? Anything else? This is a good one. Scholarly writing, okay. That could be scholarly writing. I think some of it is happening here, but a big change like, yeah. That's just a building here. Think about a change, really a change.
The way we work.
Yeah, yes, could be.
Before 15 years.
Okay, thing like, okay, another one big one I'm thinking of is AIIAS works on a business model that is dependent on general conference appropriation. If the general conference appropriation does not come, AIIAS will close down, right? A big change would be for AIIAS to become self-sufficient, from appropriation dependent to fully 100% self-sufficient. Do you understand? It's a big change. It's a change of thinking. It's a change. It will transform AIIAS. You understand? Okay. So if you're thinking of a research topic that will fit appreciative inquiry, think about this. All right. Another change I'm thinking is AIIAS is more of a teaching institution, right? Let it become a research institution, not just a teaching institution, become a research institution and so there'll be a shift, change.
The leaders to professionals.
Okay, change the mission statement. Where is the mission statement? There. So develop leaders, change that to develop professionals, right? Yeah, it is this kind of a change that I'm talking about. This kind of a change, appreciative inquiry will address. Okay, anything else that you have in mind? How would you change AIIAS? There are PhD students that are taking too long to complete. We want them to complete in 3 years' time. Okay? 3 years. No. 3 years. 2 years of coursework, 1 year. That'll be a change. Okay? Now let's take this. Okay? Getting students to complete the PhD in 3 years. And let's say we really want to study and understand how this change can happen. The first thing that you do is, if you apply this 4 principle, discover the best practices AIIAS is having as of now. Not everything is right, but what is the best, what is right? What is working in dissertation writing? What is working? Then you look at best practices from around the world, like Harvard, elsewhere, that people are completing their dissertation in 3 years' time. What is working elsewhere? Do you understand? You're focusing on what is working first here in AIIAS, then elsewhere, and then sitting down and dreaming about the best that may be. So you say AIIAS should have, you dream about AIIAS's dissertation writing process that can shorten. And the PhD program is all 3 years, you're done and gone. And you start thinking about the best of what, see here in the first place, You try to discover the best of what is here in AIIAS and elsewhere. What is working in Harvard, in Cambridge, in London School of Economics, in Timbuktu, and elsewhere, in Madagascar. So you have an understanding of what is working in AIIAS, what is working elsewhere, then dream about the best that may be. Here, this is aspirational, okay? Aspirational meaning what you don't have in our dissertation writing process. You don't have. And you think what should you can envision or what should be brought in for the PhD program along with dissertation writing to complete in 3 years' time. You understand? Then what is the third phase? Design the best that can be. You have dreamt now, okay? Take those elements and you start designing the best dissertation writing process, the best. And this best is based on what? You have dreamt and what you have discovered. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Discovered the best of what is at AIIAS and elsewhere. And then once you have that, you start dreaming about, visioning about the best dissertation writing process in AIIAS. Are you with me? After that, after dream, after you have dreamt, they say one of the best way to make your dreams come true is to wake up. Don't keep sleeping and dreaming forever. Wake up and you need to design the best that there can be. You start putting the design elements. What are the features, design elements? Once you have in place the design elements, the best that can be, then lastly, you implement this and you deliver. Simple? You understand the concept? What is the first? D? Discover. All right. So, Alex, what was your change?
From leaders to professional.
Leaders to professional. Okay, okay. What was the other one? You have mentioned.
Industry, having.
Okay, bringing industry, being practitioners approach. Okay, so that's again another big change. There may be things that AIIAS is already doing. Okay, and then go to perhaps Asian Institute of Management that develops only professionals. They are not developing not leaders, academicians. No professors, only practitioners for the industry. So go and see how they do it. Discover the best of what is. Then dream about the best that may be. Design the best that can be. And lastly, deliver your dream. Wake up from your, you deliver your dream. The main idea behind AI, this is not artificial intelligence. The main idea behind appreciative inquiry is co-creating a vision that is so compelling that it does not require the use of incentives, coercion, or persuasion for planned change to occur. So you are doing this along with the people, okay? Co-creating. This is co-creating, especially when it comes to discovery, dream, visioning, you do it with your co-workers, people in the organization. And so it is co-creating a vision that is so compelling. Once you have the vision and people own this vision, you do not require the use of incentives. They would change themselves. So this dream phase is about sitting together in a group. And appreciative inquiry has a very interesting way of data collection. It is known as the AI Summit, where the whole system in the room, if the whole of AIIAS is in a room and you do this and ideas emerge from the floor, it is so powerful, people will actually own it. They would say, this is our vision. We need to change in this manner, this direction. And so you would not require incentives, coercion, or persuasion for plan change. All right. Looking at what the phrase appreciative inquiry means. Appreciate means valuing, recognizing the best in people or the world around us. It means affirming strengths. You understand the meaning of affirming? When you affirm someone, I say, all right, I know you are really good at this. Affirming. Affirming. And it is perceiving those things that gives life. Perceiving those things that give life to living systems. Perceiving those things that gives life. That's appreciation. So what is appreciation? Valuing. When you value somebody, when you recognize the best in people, they respond to you in kind. Are you with me? You agree with this? On the other hand, if I go and I start finding fault with everything Alex does, Alex is our data analyst, and all of his dashboards, if I start finding fault in everything, that's not affirming. It's the opposite. And if I'm affirming, then I'm actually appreciating things that give life to systems. Number two, it also means esteeming, honoring, prizing, and all of that. That's all appreciated. What it means to appreciate. Look at the second word in the phrase appreciative inquiry. Inquiry, the word inquiry. It is the act of exploration and discovery. Okay, what is inquiry? Act of exploration and discovery. You explore and you discover. But it also means to ask questions. Okay, so we will focus on this mostly. Asking questions. The questions that you ask are important in appreciative inquiry. All right. Appreciative inquiry accentuates the positive rather than eliminates the negative. So, in appreciative inquiry, are you looking at this or are you looking at this? You're looking at what you've got. You don't look at what is missing. Okay, appreciative inquiry is asset-based. It is asset-based. look at what will give you life. Okay, okay. Yes. What will give you life? Yes, we'll come to this. You know, there is an explanation in an institution. There is a principle of phototropism. You've read phototropism. You know, the sunflower, it faces the sun. If it goes here, it will turn here. And it'll bend, the plant will bend towards the source of light. Because it's the source of life, not just light. Likewise, in organization, when you find affirming people, okay? Let's say you in an organization, there is Anup here, always affirms you, finds you, always catches you doing right, you know, not catches you doing something wrong, catches you doing right. And he focuses on the positive, asset-based. You will start moving towards him like a plant. Because why? Those affirmation is life-giving. We'll come to that. So do you understand the meaning of appreciative inquiry now? It is recognizing the best in not just people, but the world around, affirming strengths, successes, perceiving those things that give life to an organization. And inquiry, it is to ask the questions, positive questions. All right, so we move on. Appreciative inquiry is an approach to change. It builds hope, unleashes collective imagination, brings about positive revolution, and cultivates appreciation. This is what appreciative inquiry is all about. It is an approach to change. All right. Here, we are going to look at some points of departure. Problem solving is one approach, and it is a good approach. It is a powerful approach. It brings in results. But appreciative inquiry is quite different from problem solving. Problem solving is similar to action research, okay? And we would use it interchangeably. So here, you find problem solving or action research on one hand, and appreciative inquiry on the other, the right-hand side. All right, so when you're doing action research, or when you're doing problem solving, it is deficit focused. You are focusing on the problem. Are you with me? You're trying to solve the problem. Number two, you're trying to find out what is wrong, what does not work, and then you're trying to fix it. Right? Thirdly, you're focusing, okay, that was third. Number four, you are trying to do what is known as root cause analysis. Analyzing the wrong, and you want to find the causes of the problem. These are all problem focused. Number five, you're trying to analyze the problem and how to fix it. Number six, you're making an action plan. You're creating an action plan. You may have read and seen how people develop action plans. Number seven, you're taking an action to fix a problem. And number eight, which is kind of philosophical, it is at an assumption level. Here, the basic assumption that action research makes is organizations are a constellation of problems to be fixed. You're looking at an organization, you look at AIIAS, you find 20 different problems, and these 20 different problems needs to be fixed. So you're trying to fix the problem. On the other hand, appreciative inquiry is focusing on the positive, finding out what is working, amplifying what works, accentuating the positive. Number 4, discovering the value, the best of what is, and understanding what makes it the best. Envisioning, dreaming what might be, imagining the best that can be, designing the best, and lastly, innovating, that is, acting to realize the imagined best. The imagined best, you try to realize the imagined best. Lastly, the basic assumption, this again at the philosophical level, appreciative inquiry considers organizations as a mystery to be embraced. And here you're looking at organizations as sources of infinite capabilities and imaginations. So these are the 2 different approaches. Problem solving, it works, it is effective. But appreciative inquiry is the other side of the issue. Any questions on any of these, both of these approaches? Do you see here how both of these approaches are different?
Is it saying like benchmarking?
Yes. Yeah, in benchmarking, correct. You're looking at best practices is a positive approach. In benchmarking, you're not benchmarking to find out how you're short of the ideal. In benchmarking, you try to find out the best practices and you try to learn from those best practices of others. That is what happens in the discovery stage, where you discover the best of what is and the best of what is elsewhere. Correct. You're right. Yes.
What do you do with the negatives?
Ah.
What do you
That's the question everybody asks. What do you do with the negative? Do you know? Do you push it under the carpet? What do you do? The answer is this. When you dream of the best that there can be, and you design the best that there will be, and you co-create that what you have envisioned, the deficits that you had, the problems, will disappear. Because you have co-created a new system where those problems, old problems, don't exist. So you don't have to focus on fixing those problems. You're creating something that is ideal, bigger, better. Not by fixing problems, by creating something which works. So you're not pushing the problems under the carpet, and so that one fine day it'll raise its ugly head again. No. Yes.
appreciate freedom? Does it go looking for a gap? Because like it's not solving it's conceptual issues, solving practical problems.
Yeah. So when you're following appreciative inquiry, you're not looking at a problem statement. You're looking at a possibility statement. Yeah. What you can become. What is possible for you to become. Not looking at a problem.
So then it's not really very theory contributing.
No, you can. It can contribute theory too. You can. When you're developing, see, the last phase of appreciative inquiry is when you're generating provocative propositions. Those propositions can be stated in a way that can become hypothesis later on for you to test. So those propositions are theory statements. Towards the end, the output, I will discuss about that. Okay, so good question. So here you're looking at not problems, you're looking at possibilities. All right. So appreciative inquiry is a philosophy, it is a perspective, it is also a research methodology. And, the SAGE Handbook of Qualitative Research in Asia, I and Dr. Innocent, we have a chapter on that. And we have put much of our methodological inventions in that chapter. So you can go and read that. So it is also an approach to positive change. It can also be considered as a worldview. Okay. So if somebody tells you, oh, but appreciative inquiry, is it a methodology? I don't see it in Creswell's The Big Five, like action research, phenomenology, grounded theory, and narrative inquiry and case study. These are the big five. We don't see appreciative inquiry. Well, we are proposing this as an addition to the big five to make it big six. Theories and principles of appreciative inquiry. One is the heliotropic hypothesis. Heliotropic. What was the term I had used? Phototropism. Heliotropic hypothesis. People, life, move towards people, and even plants move towards life-giving sources. In AIIAS, you will find students moving into one of the offices more often, and they're avoiding another office. You see a beeline of people. You know why? Because when they go inside that office, they're positively charged. There are affirmations. There's positive energy there. And some offices they would avoid. Why? The minute they go and sit there, negativity is poured into them. And they come out of the office depleted. Isn't it not true? Is it true? Yeah, that's true with all organizations, not just in AIIAS. Heliotropic hypothesis is that when you start affirming people, groups, individuals will start moving towards you. And you can tap that energy and you can change them. Organizations like Plant evolve towards life that gives them energy. Evolve towards light that gives them energy. Interventions that promote a positive imagery offer a better basis for change in the organization. So interventions that is based on positive imagery is better. Generativity is another principle. When people collectively discover or create new things, they can positively alter the future. Collective aspiration is generative. Collective. You understand the meaning of a collective? Together? AI generates spontaneous, unsupervised action towards a better future. When people collectively discover, you say, we need to move towards collectively. There's no need for any negative intervention, no need for incentives, no need for coercion, no need to even persuade them. They would move voluntarily towards it. Generativity principle. The power of questions. Questions can either can be generative or degenerative. The power of questions Every question has a direction. Questions have the power to build or to burn, to lead, to share understanding, or to usher in confusion. Questions can invite people to create a compelling vision, or it can subject them to impending doom. Questions. You know, some examples of negative question. Has somebody asked you this? Why can't you ever do anything right? What does it presume? What is the assumption? Presumes and creates an identity of incompetence. What crime will you people commit next? These are questions, you know. Who made such a stupid decision, you know? Who made this stupid decision? You're looking to assign blame. When you ask these questions, how can we get even? You're rallying support for retaliation. You want to beat up somebody. Why bother to invest in a lost generation? You know, it reinforces despair about the future. You understand these questions? These are inherently negative questions. These questions will not change. On the other hand, look at questions such as, how did you learn to do such a good job? Alex, your what do you create? The reports, your infographics and the dashboards.
Oh,
They're so good. Where did you learn to do that? You know, when somebody comes and says that, what is happening to him? He's being affirmed, right? Yeah. How did you learn to do such a good job? How can we support and learn from your community? How can we get this done now? How can I help you? What makes you glad to live in this country? Live in this community called AIIAS? What can you do to make a difference? You know, these are all positive questions. It is creating energies to change. So these are the 4-5 principles of appreciative inquiry: simultaneity, construction, poetic, positive, and anticipatory. Simultaneity, the first question starts the change. Okay? Are you with me? The first question you ask, it starts the change. Construction, words create worlds. The words you use for your children, those of you who have children, it will create their worlds. Words create worlds. You use the right words, you as a change agent in an organization, you can create a new world. Poetic, what we focus on grows. Positive question leads to positive change. Anticipatory, images inspire action. Images, create good images. That's why you have, you know, pictures of, have you gone where a construction is going to be, and they would say, here will rise this building, and there's a big picture there. All right, we are done with the introduction now. Now, the research design. So how do we convert all of this into a research design? And so here you have, you know, the research paradigm. You would have taken courses in research methodology. Appreciative inquiry, if you look at its epistemological stance, it is constructivism. Theoretical perspective, it is interpretism. Research approach, it is inductive. It is not deductive. Okay, are you with me? It is inductive. Research method, it can be mono-method, qualitative, but it can be multi-method. Dr. Innocent Sagauke used, what were the two methods he used?
Appreciative and grounded theory.
Appreciative inquiry and grounded theory. Okay. You could use case study and appreciative inquiry. You could use case study and action. You can use appreciative inquiry with maybe narrative inquiry too. I don't know. Research strategy, appreciative inquiry. Research focus, this focus will be change in organization. Are you with me? Change. If you're studying something else, don't use appreciative inquiry. If you're studying change, then this is your methodology. So, time horizon, it can be cross-sectional, longitudinal. Research method, the central phenomena that you would suggest, or the unit of focus, it can be organization, group, individual, processes, systems, action, interaction. You can study any of these things. You want to change a process, you want to change a system, you want to change a group, an individual, or an organization, this method is fine. Your unit of analysis, any of these can be your unit of analysis. Intent to change from present state to a future state. This should be clear. When you're doing appreciative inquiry, you want to change from present state to a future state. The key process is positive questioning. You use the 4D cycle. Discover question, discovery questions, dream questions, design questions, and destiny questions. The role of the researcher is a participant observer. Participant. Here, actually you are not just data. You're collecting data, you are generating data. Okay? Not just data gathering, data generating. You generate data. Sample, how do you collect sampling? Your processes, purposive, snowballing, theoretical, intensity sampling, extreme case sampling, any of these. Instrument, AI interview protocol. It could be focus group, in-depth data generating methods. If you look here, in-depth interview, focus group, introspection, synergenesis. This is specific to appreciative inquiry. And also AI summit. This is again specific to appreciative inquiry. Research process, you train participants on conducting AI interviews, and then you use the 4Ds and research outcomes. You have a transformed organization or a process, transformed process or a transformed system. All right, data analysis and reporting. Here, you'd code for themes, concepts, categories. You could do thematic analysis, hermeneutic analysis, discourse analysis could also be used, and narrative analysis also can be used. Interpretation and validation. Here, what does the finding mean? Here, you can have a discussion, and using existing literature and theory, you can then develop a discussion on the finding and the interpretation of and the validation of what your findings mean. And so here is a research design. Any questions here? Yes.
That's train points. AI. That meaning that you yourself, conduct.
You'll need you will need more multiple assistants, because you'll be working in groups, big groups, and so you need to train people so that they can also collect data. One person going all around, it is yeah, you can use AI Summit, like I mentioned here, where everybody, the whole system in a room. Yeah, but you can also use focus group interviews. You can also use in-depth interviews, and the others. Yeah, it's a lengthy process. Here to transform the right question. People, you have to train the people who are helping you to especially in the area of asking questions, affirmative questions, and seeking, discovering the best of what is, getting them to dream, reporting. This takes time, but it is very, very energizing. Yes.
So, Appreciative equity can also be applied to maybe a smaller department with
Yeah.
chair.
You can use.
Doesn't need a-
Yeah. Any other question?
Let's say quantitative research, when we would like to supplement the quantitative research based on some best practices, which we can find in financial statement, in documentary narratives, without any interviews, without any qualitative methods. Is it possible to use it, or do we have the analog
Numerical data, you mean?
which
Yeah.
already exists, and in this history we can find the best practices and apply, or say that we can overcome some problems with these best practices. For example, we are talking about standard setters, and tangible assets accounting, and there is debate about how the standards is relevant, and we explore different countries and find that in some countries there's problems overcome, and we have to try to come into the world society of standard setters that it is time to make changes based, for example, on US practice. So, and for this, I would like to in the interviews, find that one. Standard setters based on the documentation
Connection.
and
Yeah, it is possible. So your question, if I understand it correctly, you're saying that how can data, that is numerical data, be used here? It can be used because you want to discover the best of what is, and it is the best of what is can be found in numerical data. So yeah, this is not exhaustive. Yeah, you can use that. Very well use it. Thank you. I can change my my notes here to include that. It's very likely that you will use all different financial data, numerical data to collect data on the best of what is, and also in design. In the design phase, a lot of numerical or computational data could also be used there. Anything else? Yes.
Say I want to make, there is a change that I want to make for the budget, a small change. And then instead of doing the young focus group, I'll give a survey focused on the 4Ds. Is that applicable?
No, survey will collect data, but you're not having a conversation with the people. Here, with the right type of questions and conversation, that is how you intend to bring change there. And getting them to dream, to design. It is best carried out in a conversation. Survey, you could collect some data, you can collect some useful data, but maybe for design elements, yes. But because this is qualitative, you can get the best results only through a conversation, in-depth interview, follow-up questions, then just giving them a list of, and then make them tick. You don't get a data that is rich enough. Good question. Anything else?
Between the collecting and generating.
Okay, collecting and generating. See, data collection or data gathering is, there is data available and you are collecting. Generating, on the other hand, is data which is not available in explicit form. It is tacit data. You understand the meaning of tacit? Tacit knowledge is in the minds of people. Unless you have a conversation, you cannot bring that out. Tacit is an understanding.
It makes assumptions.
Yes, yeah. Only when you want to bring it in an explicit domain, you ask them to write it. Data generating is when you are, as a researcher, the researcher is a participant. Okay, the researcher is a participant, is a participant researcher, and through an interaction, that data is generated. Otherwise, the data is not there for you to collect. Okay, anything else? I'm almost done.
Just
Yes.
a comment on his question.
Yes.
I wanted to say that if you use a survey, you may not fulfill the principles of appreciative inquiry, such as positivity.
Yes.
When Anup asked about the training, it means that when you're doing the interview, you want to maintain a positive environment so that there's positivity, there's simultaneity. So all those principles are only possible like in a live setup. So that people it can be a spontaneous contribution. And
yeah. So see some of the principle of spontaneity and all, we just looked at, that may not be possible through a questionnaire, very informal. You remember the principle? Simultaneity, construction, poetic, anticipatory, positive. Okay, very quickly, appreciative inquiry has these 4 steps, 4 Ds. We'll recapitulate. What is discovery? Trying to discover what gives life, the best of what is, the best of what is. Dreaming what might be, what is, what might be. This is the world calling. What is the world calling for? This envisioning. You try to imagine what AIIAS can become, what your unit, what your church can become. Design what should be the ideal. Is co-constructing. You're getting together and you're bringing the elements. If those elements are there, it will be ideal. And so the problems that you talked about will disappear because you're creating the ideal. You're not brushing them aside. It is being addressed. Those problems are already being addressed in the ideal state here. And then destiny, which is deliver what must be and sustaining it. So these are the 4 Ds of appreciative inquiry. Okay, these are the discover questions. So you will ask these questions, okay? the discover questions. And then you will code the responses people give you. What works well around here? Okay, it's a positive question. What has been a high point in this organization? Anup, you have stayed here for how many years now? 3, 4 years. Yeah. What is the best, the high moment here? When you really felt alive, you felt really valued, you felt good, then you'd say this, this. I'm capturing those and trying to build those into the design phase, dream and design phase. You understand? I'm trying to capture. Then what you're most proud of? What was your greatest accomplishment here? Yeah, here at AIIAS. What did you do that was exceptional? What strengths are most valued assets? What do we do to have that's better than others? Okay, what gives life in this organization? What are you passionate about? These are questions that you want to have answers for. Then dream, what would you like your organization to be in 5 years' time? 5 years' time, what should AIIAS look like? You're dreaming, okay? What is the ideal vision of AIIAS? Oh, AIIAS should have a swimming pool. It should have a cafeteria. It should have dream. It is not there. But you're dreaming of an ideal place. It should have a beautiful student center, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, a coffee shop. Dream. Design. What are the elements needed to create this vision? What is the best structure to support this? Long-term goals, short-term goals. How do you want to achieve this future? What strategies and action will support this? You understand this? Design. And then destiny here. How do we translate our vision of success into tangible outcomes? What can you do or your team do? Contribute this. How are we going to deliver the design? What can we begin to put in place to achieve this dream? The key performance indicators. And how do we know that we have achieved our goal? What commitment can you make to contribute to this? Personally, what can you commit? You understand? So here you're creating destiny. And when we do this, when we ask all of these questions, okay, yeah. Then this is the process flow chart. You'll find this in the book, the Qualitative Research in Asia. So here you have appreciative inquiry. And we have, we have data from AI Summit, interviews, observation, and also, from different elsewhere, from records and things. Then you have data from the 4D, the different questions for the 4D. Then you do a thematic analysis, okay? And then you are beginning now to create the research output. You will have a discovery document, okay? So from the questions on discovery, you will do a thematic analysis and you'll have a discovery document here, stories and questions to key, stories and answers to key questions. And you will also have here, when you dream, you create a preferred future, metaphorical representations, you can use metaphors, and dream enactment. And all of this will go into a vision document. That is again a research output in chapter 4. Then, when you start creating the design, you have the design data, all questions from the design, you do a thematic analysis, or, and then from there you extract provocative propositions based on these themes. These are propositions. This can be written in the form of a theory statement. I don't know if I'm getting across. You know what is a theory statement? A is related to B. Things like a question like here in AIIAS, you can say students who do a course on applied qualitative research will produce better qualitative research dissertation. You take this course, you'll produce that. Where it's a proposition. We don't know. Then somebody can collect data to validate that. Design statements. And here you can make an action plan, commitment, and a research implementation, an action plan. Yes. This is what will happen. Yeah. These are your research outputs here. Yeah. Research outputs. Yeah. This was about dissertation writing process. So you have 4 research questions, okay? One is on discovery. Research question 2 on dream. Research question 3 on design. And research question 4 on destiny. Will you be able to write a research question on each of these? Simple, easy. And once that is, this is the data generation method, okay? This is how you collect data. And this would be a research output. For discovery, it will be stories of what has worked in the past. Discovery, in the other, I called it stories. And then number 2, vision document. Vision document. Here, vision document. Then design statements. Yeah, these are design statements. And then here you can have an action plan, commitment statement. Anup, Dominic will contribute this to the realization of this dream. You're making a commitment. Action plan. It can also be in the form of innovation configuration map, IC maps, or design thinking. You have heard of design thinking? Design thinking can be, again, an output here. And these are the research outputs. Thank you very much. All right, so what is the time? Dr. Innocent, we can create a, can you work on a topic? I'll give you 5 minutes. Appreciative inquiry topic.
Then when we return, Dr. Ken, there is a question in the from the
Okay, tell me. Yeah.
from those online, probably after, maybe
Okay, yeah.
while we're working on a topic, then you think about the response,
So
give it later.
the research topic and those 4 questions. That's it. Okay. Research topic, and then ask a discovery question, a dream question, a desire question, and a destiny question. So you have the topic and your research questions. Yes.
Is the dream company or the research after the application? That is happening. Let's say I want to study a change, that means I have a vision or have a dream or a dream in my mind. Or it comes when I have the AIIAS study.
So here, the researcher is not dreaming. Is the part the people, they are dreaming and co-creating a vision for themselves. So you are facilitating for them to articulate their vision. You're getting what their vision is. You're not trying to put your vision into their mind. You're trying to understand what is their collective vision. Okay, so while you're working, Innocent, I can answer what was the question?
So there's a question from the online audience. I'll read. How can we explain to people what appreciative inquiry is not? That appreciative inquiry is not just a management tool, but also a research approach.
How can we
explain to
explain?
people
Okay.
that AI is not just a management tool, but also a research approach?
Okay. So as I mentioned earlier, if you go back to my presentation, yes. Appreciative inquiry means different things to different people. Okay? It is a philosophy to live by. It is also a perspective that can be applied to any organizational change. It can be a tool, like, or a management tool, as mentioned. It is an approach to positive change. It can also be viewed as a worldview. Appreciative inquiry is a worldview. But we are arguing, okay? I'm arguing here, and also the book chapter in what is the name of the book? Qualitative Research, an Asian Perspective, right? An Asian Perspective. In that, we have argued that it is also a research methodology. And it is a research methodology and not just a management tool. Because, yes, it is here with a beautiful research design. It has a workable research design with the research paradigm where we are saying that epistemologically this is constructivism, okay, appreciative inquiry. And the theoretical perspective of this is interpretivism. Approach, inductive, it applies inductive. Research methodology, monomethod, could be multi-method too. Research strategy, appreciative inquiry. Focus, change. And it has a definite research methodology. The role of researcher is defined here, that it is the researcher is a participant observer, like that in anthropology, where you do In anthropology, what do you do? What kind of a research? Not narrative inquiry, it is ethnographic study. There is a sampling method here. Instruments are designed, research process, and how we would code and collect data is also defined here. Data collection method. And so we are arguing that it is not just a management tool, but also a research methodology, a fully developed research methodology. And there are about 6 PhD students in AIIAS that have completed their dissertation. And each of them are, in my opinion, very well done. Beginning with Dr. Innocent's paper, you can have a look that it is a well-developed methodology. Then you had Ranjit Biota, Catherine Vellera, and a couple of others, Banas, Rodney, and I think also Mary Grace Guzman. All of them have completed their PhD using this methodology. And so I argue that this is a good research method, not just a management tool. Okay, any other question? So any of you are ready to have worked on the research topic? Yeah, if you're ready, please share. Who's ready? Alex, yes, go ahead. Wow. Say it again. Appreciative inquiry.
In digital assets account,
Okay.
US software industry, 2013.
So you want to change it from what it is? What is the current state here?
I would like to.
And what is the future state?
Yeah, no, I would like to contribute to debate
Mhm.
of standard settings regarding the relevance of current standards according to
Okay.
regarding the digital assets accounting.
Mhm.
And I would like to do it based on best practice in the US software industry. So it is not about all digital assets, but just about software
Mhm.
and about just for the some time frame, limited time frame. So
You want to look at the best practices, yeah, and see what is working. And at the end, you will have what is your final output?
I would like to state that, for example, GAAP system
Mhm.
is more effective and better overcome the problem in gap between market value and what we call balance value of enterprise
Yes.
than international financial report system.
Okay, yes, good. So you're thinking of a change, okay? And the change will be based on the best practices that you observe and see. Okay, anything else? Did I see a hand? Yes, go ahead.
Involving local church member in preaching and appreciative inquiry.
Involving local members in preaching. It is not just the pastor who's preaching every time. Involving local church members. And you want to see what is working presently and what works elsewhere in other universities, other university churches or other churches. And you want to, the present state is you have a preaching church, a preaching pastor, but the future state would be local members involved in preaching. Okay, fine, based on best practices. Good. Anup?
for example, an appreciative inquiry
Mhm.
for a missionary family
Mhm. Mhm.
who lives and works in a modern day city.
Modern day city.
You know, maybe family is conceptualizing together, probably discovering.
Mhm.
And
Dreaming, designing. The missionary family.
wants to know a quick family strategy
Okay.
to live effectively.
Okay. So what is the current state? Current state maybe the family is not fully adjusted, having issues, still trying to live. The future state would be a happy missionary family in an urban setting. Okay. Good. All right. Yeah, thingy. Anyone else? Nisa, anything that you have? Any change, you can apply this for change. Big ticket change, not small change. Again, this is important. When you're applying this, you want to really change something in AIIAS elsewhere. Yes. Mhm.
Which I was involved in my previous university.
Mhm.
I was trying to see how what with the gaps in between that curriculum and the limitations it had, and then looking forward into the future now, how I can align and see where what best practices can be applied, or what's best strategy, or what best subjects can be implemented into the curriculum to align it with best practices of education looking to the future. So
And curriculum design, okay? Yeah, you can see from what is working now, but you want to incorporate the best practice from around the world, and then you want to, envisage something, dream, design, and then co-create. But you want to do this together with people, not sitting in an office behind a desk in a closed room. You are going out and discussing this with people, getting them to dream, asking them all of the research questions, the interview questions, the different kinds, and then using that to dream, design, and create a destiny. You have used then the appreciative inquiry method. Yes, good. Anything else? Anybody else? Yes, JB.
About employee engagement,
Employee engagement.
organizational performance.
Mhm.
See the area, being better.
Mhm.
Nowadays, that be the organization's strategic objectives
Mhm.
and indicators so that see how better it can be.
Mhm. Okay, yes, fine. Anything else? Tell me. Any other ideas? Were you able to put down some research questions? You understood the research question. One, you need to have a research question on discovery, another on dream, design, destiny. And to collect data, you go back to the different questions. Yeah.
These questions sample or they are
These are generic questions. You can twist and turn them and use them, but this gives you a good idea as to what kind of questions are asked. Or discover what works well around here. It's a generic question. You can ask this anywhere. In curriculum design, you can ask, in curriculum design, what do you think has worked well in curriculum design here in the graduate school? What you're most proud of in our curriculum design? What makes us unique? What makes our curriculum unique? So here you're trying to get the best of what is in curriculum design here at AIIAS graduate school. You're not beginning with a problem. You're starting with what is working. All right, if there is any one last question.
There's one in the comments. There's one here in the comments.
Yes.
To what extent can we focus solely on the positive aspects? What if the positive aspects have already matured and we discover that the necessary changes originate from the very problem we are trying to address?
Okay, is that wrong? Yeah, we are not trying to address problems here. That's the that is the starting point. We are not addressing problems, but it is a very difficult change in our thinking that must happen because we always go in to solve a problem. You're not solving a problem. Yes.
There is within the
Mhm.
summit,
Yeah.
a devious person
Mhm.
who brings out ideas that will never materialize because they know the inroads,
Mm.
or if they will purposefully lead the group
Astray.
in a wrong direction.
You will find such people. Now, the thing is, that's why appreciative inquiry, and especially in a appreciative inquiry summit, it's not easy. You need to be trained to deal with these issues. Then there are frivolous people. They're just having fun. They will ask you fun question and a very smart answer or response, over smart response and questions. You'll find people who are doing that, but you have to tell them that, see, communicate to them the seriousness of what you're doing. And this will determine the destiny of people on the organization. You're not come there to play. Yeah.
There is compound check.
I'm able to share the pictures
Since the methodology
from the previous one.
override that.
Oh, okay. So, see, you have to eliminate those comments from the design phase. As a researcher, that's not the voice of the people. Yeah. Anything else? What did you like most about this? What you found a little challenging to understand? What was very different from other methodologies? Those are some questions. Any responses? Yeah. Here you're not focusing on problems. You're focusing on possibilities. So possibility statement, not a problem statement.
Here we don't do falsification.
No.
Because science goes by falsification.
Okay, and so may I also mention, see, because this is my default philosophy of life. So when AIIAS wanted to do a strategic planning, Dr. Ginger called me and she said, Ken, can you teach strategic planning and your PhDs in this area. Would you want to assist? I said, yes, of course. And so there are many ways of doing strategic planning. One is an appreciative inquiry approach. It is not based on SWOT, SWOT, SWOT analysis. The appreciative inquiry approach to strategic planning is SOAR, SOAR. S, strength. O, opportunities. A, aspiration. That's dream, and R, results, destiny. And Tesla uses this. Tesla uses appreciative inquiry in their strategic planning, SWOT analysis. So AIIAS's present strategic plan is based on appreciative inquiry. And we actually had a lot of fun. I can show you the document. And then when the graduate school, we were building quality assurance in our for quality assurance or framework for quality assurance. I included appreciative inquiry there again. Would you like to see some of those? Okay, quality assurance, okay? You may be interested in this. What is happening here? Okay. Anup has seen this a number of times, I know. See here, the quality assurance. AIIAS's quality assurance framework. Okay. Philosophy. Okay. There are two ways of quality assurance. One is problem solving and the other is appreciative inquiry. So here, as an approach to quality assurance, we say this is preferred. Okay? The same principles: appreciating, valuing, envisioning, dialoguing, innovating. This is the appreciative inquiry framework for quality assurance. See here, the 4D, and this is, okay, define. How do we define quality at AIIAS? Discover what are our stories and examples of quality at AIIAS. When and where are we at our best? Dream. How could quality look? How could quality look like at its best? How do we imagine quality to be like at AIIAS? Design the best quality that should exist at AIIAS. What is the ideal? And deliver. How will we move forward? How will we sustain this new quality standard? This is an appreciative inquiry design. Yeah. Quality appreciation. This is our quality framework: quality appreciation, quality assurance, and quality control. You like that? Quality appreciation, best practices, positive core examples that emerge from lived experience. Huh? And this is our framework. Yeah. This is a framework. Yeah. The problem-solving paradigm, okay? If you are using quality problem-solving paradigm here, identify and understand performance, under and over performance. Investigate possible causes for gaps when there's poor performance. you're looking at the problem. Take strategic initiatives to improve the gap, assess the effectiveness. This is problem-solving approach. And I said, this also works. It is effective. But when possible, this is what we prefer. Define the focus and scope, discover values and positive core and best of QA through data, stories, and artifacts. Dream, design, and deliver. So this can be used in quality assurance and yeah, did you like this? And even in our strategic planning, we used the method.
Can we assume that the impact from the appreciative inquiry should be more than the problem solving paradigm? Because if we waited and the problems bring more challenges than we have outcomes from the appreciative inquiry, it means that it is not time for them.
Yeah.
Or as you mentioned, we should review the system from the very beginning. So let's say we have old house and the issue can be arise like what is effective to build a new
house
or to
renovate it. Mm-hmm.
In this case, when we build new one, we can skip all the problems.
Yes.
Something like this.
Yeah. So it is possible here. So this was using appreciative inquiry in quality assurance, and like I mentioned in strategic planning, also we did this. So a variety of ways it can be used. All right. I think we are done, Dr. Innocent. Thank you very much for being with us, and I hope it was a profitable moment being here in this room. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ken. We have Anup to give us a vote of thanks today, after which we'll have our traditional photo with those present and those online. Anup.
Thank you so much, Dr. Swansea. We always enjoy your sessions. And today it was an appreciative inquiry. I learned a lot after everybody did. Okay, and I'm sure our online people did.
Yeah.
So thank you, Dr. Swansea.
Yeah, can somebody take a picture if you can, Rana? Yeah. Yeah.
So we'll take a picture together.
Okay.
Then last faster to pray for us. Is that okay? And you got that.
Yeah, I'd like to have this picture.
You're supposed to be this side. You can give it to Joy.
Oh, yes. Perfect. Come closer.
She'll take a pic from there.
Give a prayer before we leave. Thank you for praying for us.
Right. Most places in which I have thank you for this being with us at this workshop, and thank you for the message and Father, I would like to pray to bless our people today other visitors, students, so that he can contribute more. And also please, let's put up the attendees here so that we'll remember of what learned today and then to be able to apply in our life and this bless each of us to be in good health and also to be able to successfully accomplish our study. But I thank you for everything that you do is happening in.
Thank you.
Amen. Thank you and good night.